I saw the opportunity for us to become a leader.
It was about trying to figure out how we could utilize the assets of the university.
Without the Office of Economic Development, our student basic needs services would not be where they are today.
Our relationship with TechTown also amplifies what we're able to do.
Wayne State and the OED, they help build the marketplace.
When I came to Wayne State in 1997, I found a campus which was physically in the middle of the greatest economic potential that there was, and that was the city of Detroit. But it was at that time potential, and that led me to say, what do we have that are strengths that we could match up with what's in the city? And that was a faculty, a strong faculty of researchers and so on, and that led eventually to the development of TechTown. And that was the beginning of the lead into the Office of Economic Development.
So about 10 years ago, I'm working for the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and I got a call from Ed Hunter. They said, Alan Gilmore, the president of Wayne State, wants to talk to you. And I said, well, he's a legend. I'll go and talk to him. What does he want to talk about? And he said, he wants to talk about economic development. So I actually know something about that. Cool. So I came down to meet Alan, and he said, Ned, I'd like you to do economic development for the university. And I said, what's economic development for a university? And he said, I don't know, let's figure it out. And that's kind of how we started. It was really about trying to figure out how we could utilize the assets of the university to more effectively promote equitable growth in Midtown, in Detroit, and in the region. And what started with one person and the support of a visionary leader turned into 70 people being able to support thousands of small businesses and have a really major impact across the city.
The Office of Economic Development says, what can we do to enrich our city, to enrich our community, and to make it a great place for students? And that's how they lead. I mean, think about the MoGo bikes, the Q line, the bike lanes in the streets, the Woodward and Warren Park, the pop-up events, the transportation resources that they have brought to students. I have to tell you, without the Office of Economic Development, our student basic needs services would not be where they are today.
It's important to recognize that the kind of work that OED has been involved with is not necessarily what all universities feel is part of their mission. I think we do, and I think as a result, we're gaining more from our relationship with the community, and I think that our relationship with TechTown also amplifies what we're able to do for the community and vice versa what the community can do for us.
It's the work that the Office of Economic Development at Wayne State University did, quite frankly, that was the catalyst for, in my perspective and experiences, the investment in Midtown, which spilled over into downtown and others continuing to invest. And so when you have a key institution say economic development matters, community matters, small businesses matter, you begin to get the attention of the regional and state legislators and investors and corporations, quite frankly, who didn't necessarily understand how could they make economic development happen. But Wayne State and the OED, they help build the marketplace.
Wayne State's been a key part of the anchor strategy that was really put together about a decade ago by a national consulting firm working with us and local philanthropy to try to figure out how some of our local institutions who generate so much economic impact and jobs, service so many students and clients, could really help and catalyze more impact throughout the Woodward Corridor in a whole variety of ways.
So I think there are a lot of parallels to today to when we started the office 10 years ago. Then we were coming out of the Great Recession. Now hopefully we're going to be coming out of the COVID recession, which really has been two-tiered. So folks at the bottom end of the economic spectrum are still really struggling. And those are the folks that we serve. Those are the folks that we're most committed to. So there is a ton of work for us to do to make sure that everyone gets to participate in the economy. And this time around, as we rebuild, we can address those issues of institutional racism and structural inequality. And I think that has to be our focus for the next 10 years at Wayne State and TechTown.